Greetings, Legendary Badass here. Just got home, so a little bit of delay, was on the road. We've got some news. Grand Theft Auto 6 has been delayed. Oh, yes, we're taking it into May 2026. Now, I don't think that this is a shocker. GTA 5 came out in 2015. It still makes heaps of bank. Shark cards, guys. People got to play online. You got to get the newest mansion. You got to get the newest car. Heist barely pays to get this stuff done. Shark card, real world currency exchange, keeping that game afloat. But it also has this like huge sandbox of you to do stuff, regular updates. There just isn't that much motivation to be making a 6. When 5 is making this much money, they can wait. Now, I think the industries are rather happy about this, if you ask me. GTA 6 coming out anywhere near the launch of a Switch 2 would put the damper on Nintendo's party, would it not? Atticus says, the game will suck. You know it's true. No, I'm expecting this to be like the final game. It's the final game. I think that Nintendo is like breath of fresh air. We can get Game of the Year in on a Mario Kart World or something that'll be a Switch 2 exclusive or time exclusive. Xbox is over there thinking, you know what, we've got Game of the Year potential now too, because we know GTA 6 is just going to bash everything brutally. Avatar is probably happy. What is it, Fire and Ice or something, or Song of Ice and Fire, Avatar? That's going to get lots more money at theaters because people aren't going to be home playing Grand Theft Auto 6 at all waking hours because it's not out yet. Nothing wants to compete against this game. It's like just some kind of cross media giant gorilla in the room nobody wants to address. It's a sigh of fresh air but a sigh of relief that they don't have to go up against this. So, with that all said, we also have some other devastating news in the industry. Oh no! Xbox just increased. This is from Engadget. This was the news everybody was talking about yesterday. Microsoft just increased all Xbox prices. Grab one before the hike goes into effect. And I think it might have like effective May 1st, announced May 1st, and effective May 1st. So massive price changes here. Xbox Series S, 512 gigabyte, now 380, more than 25% increase from the 300. This is a console. Did this launch at 300 with a gimped? Is it a gimped GPU or CPU that has it pulling down the Xbox brand? Dev stating, I see what you did there. I didn't even mean for the pun. Guys, we have a lukewarm, it's not gonna lock, is it? We've got a lukewarm Red Bull, sugar-free to drink. I had my Red Bull mini fridge. Oh, now it's tracking the Red Bull. Yeah, I had my Red Bull mini fridge powered off while I was away. So this will be, I'm with it. I'm down with it. This still works for me. The Series S was a massive mistake. And there's no other way to look at that. Because if it was the case of, wow, the Xbox Series S is such a huge seller, Xbox units sold is going up worldwide. It's such a convenient little box and it's available. That hasn't been the case. I don't think Xbox can even spin that. We know from previous generations the PlayStation was way more popular than the Xbox in Asia. And now the PlayStation's getting to be more popular than the Xbox in America to a staggering degree. And I know in my state, Kansas, the Xbox was actually a little more popular last gen. I don't think that's actually the case anymore. Or maybe it's a previous gen than that, like the 360 compared to the PS3. The PS3, a bit of a misstep. But now we have, guys, we have to make this for Xbox. Just optimize it for the Series S and screw it, whatever. Game looks better on PS5. Xbox original Microsoft published games look better on a PlayStation now, thanks to, let's gobble up all the publishers, give no one any good reason to buy an Xbox, and then crank the prices up on an Xbox. Further down, the Series X digital now $550. Hey, here's a great idea. People don't like using their disk drive. Oh, wait. For me, it is a 4K UHD disc player at the least. So here is your, the Series S, it wasn't selling so well. So why don't we just take the drive out of the X, lower the price to $450. Oh yeah, we cranked up to $550. Now, without a drive, the Xbox Series X costs more than it did when it launched with a drive 5 years ago. Not smart. It gets worse, guys. The OG Series X with the 1 terabyte with Blu-ray, it says, $600, 20% increase from $500. Then you have the extra terabyte. It's going to cost you $100. Or no, wait, that's $730 now. So it's going to be $130 for the extra terabyte and your special Galaxy splatter paint job. I don't think that this is Microsoft being serious. You can't in earnest say, we have a 5-year-old game console, let's raise the price. Because there is an audience of 0 willing to entertain this offer. Is that not the case? Atticus, gotta say, the story for this game seems really lackluster. Back to the GTA 6 for just a second. Girl escapes prison, has to align with some guy I'm assuming she's meeting along the way, and you become like a Bonnie and Clyde duo. I will take that over, I used to be in the mob, now I'm working for you. Next guy tells me to kill the guy I'm working for. Okay, fine. Next guy tells me to kill the new guy I'm working for, and it just rinse and repeat. Story for GTA 4 was terrible. I said it. GTA 5, at least you kind of branched out and did a few different things. You could swap between them. It was intriguing. I think this is going to be fun. But the Xbox, a system that is not selling, needs to have the price lowered. Aging tech that is on its way out, about to be obsolete, that is due for a mid-cycle refresh, or in the least, you can't be selling that for the original price. The Super Nintendo 5 years in was pretty much done. Was it not, in the US at least, 5 years in? You would have been replaced by an N64. You wouldn't have raised the price on it. That's completely insane. They seem to think that they're, and here's why it doesn't seem serious. Like, this isn't a serious price. Cable TV has the rates increase to make up for the cord cutters. So all these people in the neighborhood are leaving. Let's jack up the price so that we still make the same amount of money. We still need to make money, so we got to take advantage of the people who stuck with cable. If I'm sticking with Xbox, that doesn't mean I'm buying more Xboxes. So what do? Well, they have another plan. Some of our new first-party games will launch at $79.99 beginning this holiday season. If that's not an incentive to continue your Game Pass Ultimate subscription, I'm not sure what it is. I think this was predictable. And I'm not blaming Nintendo, guys. New to here says, yo, I pretend GTA 4 never exists. It says Atticus. Okay. Okay, hear me out. Xbox and PlayStation wanted to raise the price for the new normal on new games to $80. They did not want to be the one who got blamed for doing it first, because they've seen that before. I think on Xbox, the first game, it was actually, was it the Until Dawn or is that the movie, or The Quarry? I think it was called The Quarry. And it was like, oh, that's $70 for some kind of story game. We're like, what are we doing? PlayStation's done it with a few things, and probably around the same time, and that gives everybody else the go code. 70 is the new price. Even though we're printing out discs or putting things in digital stores at no extra expense. There's no justification. There's no FX2 chip to put in this so that you can have Stunt Race FX or something. Maybe that had the OG FX, but you know what I'm saying. We don't have to put chips in a cartridge. There's not a manufacturing process that is considerable behind burning CDs in layman's terms. Xbox was going to do this whether or not Nintendo did it. They just, soon enough, Sony will do the same thing, because that's waning capitalism for the win. It's, what can we get away with? Not, oh, well, we'll offer the lower price. We only have 2 competitors. It wouldn't be hard for us to work together to create a new industry standard, right? We're going to have a new industry standard, and that will determine the pricing. Hey, call you guys up. How does $80 seem? Call you guys up. How's $80? Oh, it's $80. If you had a lot of competition, somebody would be trying to undercut you. There'd be like a small guy. You know what? If we beat their price, Sony is not going to look at this and say, wait a minute. They upped the price of their failing console. Their games got more expensive. Why, if we lowered prices, we could put them away. They're not going to do it. Oh, well, but what if we lower prices and don't make as much money? Because everything has to be about making as much money as possible instead of the artistic vision, integrity, being loyal to the fans who made this possible. None of that stuff keeps you on the board of directors. When did the trailer come out? It's 2023, I think 2023 for the trailer on GTA 6. I don't think Xbox or, brand-wise, Xbox or PlayStation are too concerned with this delay. I think Nintendo is the winner of the GTA 6 delay. And I am curious how poorly the game might run on a Switch 2. We are already expecting not quite 4K resolution on a Series X, certainly not 60 frames per second. I would hope that you could get 1080p 60 on the Switch 2, that is. That would be great. But I'm already seeing things indicating, was it the new Metroid Prime? Is it Metroid Prime 4 something? One of these games runs at a higher resolution, obviously, and frame rate wise docked, but does not give you the 1080p with the 60 frame per second on the handheld. In an ideal scenario, the benchmark should be 1080p, 120 hertz handheld across the line for the first party games. That would be destructive. Now, being NVIDIA chips, they have the DSLL, what is it, deep-seated learning language. They may be able to use AI to increase the frame rate by interpreting graphics in the background and details and things. If that gets implemented right, it's something that they can't really pull off on the Sony or the Microsoft for the time being. Could be pretty sweet. We'll see how that goes. Or it could be in all likelihood, a massive performance dip for your battery. Hey, plug in if you're going to do this, Or maybe it's something that will only be accessible when docked. If that gave you May 26, day one, GTA 6 running at 4K 60 on a Switch 2, oh my goodness. If they could pull that off, and Xbox is over here, hey, 700 plus bucks, why don't we, Xbox is positioned things so that you're better off of a PC. Play all of these games at their best on a PC. Or go to a PlayStation at this point. It's pretty bad to think that Xbox games play worst on Xbox. Nintendo it wins with the IPs, and I'm not even saying you could refute if the Mario IP and his related characters are as good as what they have over at Sony or Xbox or Microsoft. But the fact that you can't get Mario Kart World anywhere but the Switch 2 helps sell Switch 2s. The Xbox is just a Game Pass unit. And Xbox kind of has had this identity problem for a while. It launches and it's a Halo converter. Hey, I brought Halo. Well, make sure you don't forget the Halo converter. The Xbox, because what else was it good for? Ninja Gaiden, Fight Night. But now it's just a Game Pass machine. But if you have the PC, you have the same Game Pass to machine. So, but it'll look better. It doesn't make the Xbox terribly attractive, and raising prices doesn't help. I really don't think these will stick. And by holiday 2025, you'll probably see the prices come down because the tariff situation will be averted. But the $80 games is still here, because why would we lower prices if we can get away with it? If people, and this will be hard to suss out here, because I think most people playing Mario Kart World will do so in the bundle, in which you look at it and you go, well, it's a digital download, but it's $50, as opposed to buying it on the cart for $80. So pay the $500 for the game and the cart, or the game and the download. If the $80 version doesn't sell well, and the $80 games don't sell well for the Switch too, I suppose Sony could then postpone their announcement of going to 80 and say, no, we weren't planning to raise prices. Would Microsoft back down? Oh, yeah, we made an announcement about $80 prices, but they're not really here yet. It could be rephrased that way. Possibility, right? Atticus, the trailer gave me the Uncanny Valley ick, and I thought that Tom Petty song was a weird choice. It was a weird choice, but I feel like most of these Grand Theft Auto games have a kind of throwback song that in the trailer, maybe the song doesn't have an iconic movie moment, and they want the association for when that song plays to be associated with the game and respectively. And I don't really have a huge problem with it. I wasn't even that familiar. It was kind of a deep cut of a Tom Petty song. I had to look it up. I mean, you could just tell from the voice it was a Tom Petty song, but, whatever. Now, how about we do a little bit of a trailer reaction here for our boy John Wick? How does that sound? It turns out this is not really a trailer in the way I was kind of expecting it to be, but we'll get into the movie discussion of our shindig here.
When we say
Wick is
John Wick
pain,
is pain,
not really a movie, more of a
it's kind of like a
Lionsgate produced
fuck yeah.
retrospective on John Wick stuff.
I knew Keanu for years before I directed him. I don't know if you realize what kind of advantage that is.
I was
No better
never
union could have
massively
happened if the film
impressed with
business
this
than Chad and
franchise,
Keanu.
despite
They
being
bleed
an
Wick, they
action
die
movie
Wick.
guy.
And that's why it's so good.
No, it's not so good, and it
When
got
you see Janet
worse.
in pain on screen, it's probably for real.
I would say John Wick 2 is the leader in the clubhouse. It's like, hey, can we do a Hotline Miami scene here? Can we make references, overt references to the Warriors so that you will have it installed in your brain that these guys should be allowed to make a Warriors reboot? Things like that will happen.
We might as well tell the whole story.
We were a tiny
What's to
little
tell?
movie.
There's hardly a
We're
plot.
shut down.
Ultra
I don't
Assassin
know
has
how
to have
you find
everything explained to
$6.5
him.
million by Monday.
I took money out of my house. We are doomed. We are completely fucked.
We were panicked.
Now, there were
This is
two
Keanu
guys, I
fucking
think,
Reeves.
directed
You
the
do not
first
wanna let him
movie. I
down.
don't think that maintained course, but
Bye-bye, John Wick.
At least you're not talking
then
to
one of them
each
does the
other.
bullet
I went
train
through a
and
horrible divorce.
right,
insane.
or gets credit
get
for something.
stumped.
One of them does a Tommy blonde, and it
was
doesn't
just
have much of a
pure
story
mayhem.
either. But wants to think it
In
does.
Hollywood, you never kill a dog.
This is either genius or the worst thing I've ever made.
Oh no, the dog was stuffed.
Fucking terrible.
They didn't kill a real dog, guys. Are you,
How many
are you
more hits can this
upset?
movie take?
I think this is the nail on the coffin.
This movie's about vengeance, not John Wick's.
Now, this ballerina thing, is this a prequel of
The pain
sorts?
with it.
I mean, when would it take place, though?
It's just a
Sometime
lot of pain.
between when everyone's chasing John
Wick is
Wick?
pain. Wick is celebration. Wick is against the odds. Wick is friendship. Wick is love. It's all those big ideas. Fuck yeah.
So, digital May 9th. Yeah, not a movie. Not a movie. At the end of the day, it's just or how does he say it? It's just basketball. At the end of the first round, it's just basketball. Like, I got a good kick out of that with LeBron James losing. LeBron James losing starts this summer, doesn't it? I mean, like, is there a better pleasure than LeBron James losing in the finals? It makes it even sweeter, but just if he loses in the playoffs, that starts the summer season, doesn't it? Nude Hair says, if Sony chooses to keep prices low, they can corner the market and gain goodwill on the consumer. That's my thinking, is they don't have to announce a price hike. They already have the PS5 Pro playing it had the price hike built in. Trump tariffs or not, they were all looking to raise the price. We already had the superinflation happening, not quite hyperinflation leading to World War III, but we already had the inflation bug, and there isn't much way to calm it down. Thanks to, the way we have intertwined all of our commerce across the world, it's mutually assured destruction economically. And they were looking to raise the prices. Sony said, at least we give you a new product, but the price is pretty high. Nintendo said, we'll give you a new product, the price is pretty high, 50% increase over the Switch 1. But we're also going to do the game thing. The ball is in Sony's court, whether or not they follow on the games. And they don't have to raise a PlayStation 5 price. Who in their right mind looks at the PlayStation 5 and the Series X today and says, that system with all the exclusives and the lower price, screw them. It's bad. The Xbox stuff is so mismanaged. The price should be approximately $200. They should have sunsetted the Series S. The Series S should have been gone a year ago or more, maybe 2 years ago. And the Series X now should be about $300. And that would put Series X's in people's rooms. And they could say, hey, not everything has to have a Kinect, right? Just the same way how they could say not everything has to be optimized for a Series S. And then we could start having some games that actually look like they belong in this generation. But they didn't do that because Nepo babies get promoted and cronyism runs rampant. And the companies try to see what they can get away with. So that leaves the four of us here, right? Daniel, I hate to admit, but I've never seen a single jump. Are they not allowed in Australia? That just doesn't even make sense. Daniel, you're not missing much. It is not a return to form for the classic action movie. The first one looks very cheap. It has a cheap video look about it. 2 at least looks like a legit movie, but it introduces the repetitive format of we have to try to kill John Wick. The first one, at least he wants revenge. The second one, it's I want him dead. Oh, well, no one... It's so weird because the first movie, it's no one crosses John Wick. He's the guy who kills the boogeyman. He's the ultimate assassin. And then from the second movie on, it's, well, first you have to cut off half your finger and offer it to this woman. And Halle Berry has a bunch of dogs. And then you'll have to do this. Oh, but if you know what this guy's secret name is on Tuesdays afternoon... And then it's just, hey, I have to go talk to this Winston guy and have the culture I'm steeped in explained to me. And somebody wants me dead. And then you have the stupid bounty shit where it's like, now the bounty's 20 million. Nah, I'm not going to go. We're going to move it to 40 million. Oh, everybody run after him. Like 100 people attacking one gorilla. Now that the price is even more, like at what point do you say, no, I'm not going to get involved? He kills everybody who crosses him. But for 40 million, I don't know about that. Yeah, sure. I've got nothing else to do. I wonder if Keanu's enthusiasm is genuine or if he feels as dead that is a tough call. Being that he's not Bill Murray, I'm going to say Keanu's enthusiasm is genuine. I know he was staring down the barrel of straight to video. You probably have seen a few of his movies that were going straight to video just right around the time that were in the can and kind of released after John Wick. There was one before that, Man of Tai Chi, I think, where he's the villain. And the guy uses Tai Chi form fighting on him. And that was just straight to video. Or at least it wasn't released in theaters in the US. That's for sure. Yeah, and this brings back Keanu Reeves' career, doesn't it? And now he's also a video game voiceover guy. Let's have him do Shadow the Hedgehog. Let's have him talk throughout Cyberpunk 2077. I'm not even that enthused with Johnny Silverhand. He's all like, oh man, it's those corpos, man. The company, man. We got to smash the system. And it's like, why? You know, because they're greedy. Okay, well, that's your reasoning, right? So, no, I think Keanu is genuinely enthusiastic. He seems to actually be enthusiastic about these projects and feeling wanted. Oh, you want to pay me a heap of money to do the voice of whatever? Yeah, sure. Like that's, but he appreciates getting out. Like it's a short list of guys that have gone out of the straight to video slide, right? Like Robert Downey Jr., Keanu Reeves to some extent. Robert Downey Jr. was straight to video when they were making DVDs. And that was the form in which you would see him. There's just a few guys that have been able to climb out of that. I haven't seen any of the John Wick films either, but I have heard the first 2 were good. I've heard all kinds of stuff, and then it turns out not to be true. I know right now the Rotten Tomatoes, the popcorn meter, whatever they're calling the audience score now, it's enthusiastic about the, oh gosh, I forgot the name. The Florence Pugh action like quasi superhero Suicide Squad. Though people like it, and people liked Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, and they're trash. But, you know, a certain group of people are going to stick by it and elevate that. And can it save the MCU next phase? I don't think it much matters. These are not A-tier list heroes. They're not going to... Look, suppose this was the good movie, and even if it was kind of the breakout movie that Marvel needs right now, suppose whatever it's called, Florence Pugh Blood Origin, I don't remember. Suppose this movie surprises everybody, makes $1 billion. How do you then build the Avengers films around these characters? Going, you know, these are the characters people like right now. So you're taking a backseat Brie Larson or whoever, all the stuff that wasn't working. Build it around people who have, I don't know, kind of some powers. Maybe a few of them can do something impressive. New to here's it just can't be bothered. You're not missing much. You're not missing much with the John Wick stuff. A lot of this, I'm telling you, a lot of the scenes, it's either an action scene that is going to have a lot of redundant rolling around, shooting somebody point blank in the head, or John Wick having to have something explained to him by people who are waiting around in the desert for him. Yeah, that's about it. Keanu, Jeremy Renner from Cruise, last of the celebrities. Jeremy Renner ain't last of the celebrities, man. He had some news where he thought he needed to get paid more. Okay, so they asked him to be back for season 2 of the Hawkeye on Disney Plus. Oh, but you get a 50% pay cut. I haven't seen the first season, but from what my understanding of it is, the whole point of the series is to serve up this Kate Bishop broad to be like the new Hawkeye, to introduce her to replace Hawkeye, because that's the way things work over there. White guy playing a superhero, you need to pass the baton off to a person of color or a woman, and sometimes both. Ironheart. So they're playing that game with them. He probably would have had a much smaller role in season 2, and that's why they wanted to pay him half as much. And he said no. And I suppose they, honestly, if they really wanted, they probably could just go and make it without him and just call it Hawkeye and have the girl walking around with a bow and arrow, right? Well after what's her name? Cassadine Everdeen or something. Hunger Games character made the bow shooting popular. Yeah, it's like The Last of Us Part 2 over here. Oh wow, it's a super emotional zombie show. Over 10 years after The Walking Dead. Yeah, you really jumped on that trend. Shit. Late with the game, late with the show. Did they learn their lesson? No. They said, we're sticking by this decision that made all the Sony fanboys angry in The Last of Us Part 2, and that'll teach them. This is the vision we had the whole time. You thought we were going to change it? Nah. Like, I don't use Rotten Tomatoes, but I use Metacritic. They will function about the same, but I felt like I came across Metacritic in terms of games more so than movies. It might be, there is a problem with trying to judge a movie on a pass-fail and then equating it to a percentage out of 100. And that's the way the Rotten Tomatoes formula works. Because I could say, okay, this wasn't, not good enough. Give it a 5 out of 10. But you could also say, wow, this is terrible. 1 out of 10. Both of them get read by the machine as the same. You see the problem there? Metacritic, I think, is going to look at like the grade average across from the critics, and that would probably, in a similar to Internet Movie Database type ranking system, probably be the more truthful way to go about it. But all this stuff can be gamed in some way or another. You make things that that play to the critics. Look at how many crappy movies have to be about Hollywood. Isn't Hollywood magic, the magic of movie making, La La Land? I don't think sincere people liked La La Land. You probably sincerely fell asleep. Between La La Land and Moonlight, I thought Moonlight was the better movie. But boy, did it play an angle when Oscar So White was a thing. It's, we gotta make up for it somehow, right? So shit. Cassadine Everdeen. That sounds like the spoof movie for the Everlast. What was it? Katniss. Is it Katniss Everdeen? It's Katniss something, right? So is Joel dead already in the show? I've heard, I think they killed him very early in season 2 to be like, that'll teach you guys. You thought we were going to change our mind? And I haven't even played the games. I just kind of know what happens because it's like The Godfather or Luke, no, I am your father, something like that. Like, you know what's going to happen because too many people talked about it. I didn't even finish the second half of the game. It wasn't even that they killed Joel. The second game was just way too overbearing that it got to the point where I just didn't want to play it anymore. I don't see the appeal of it. Basically what they did was they culture vultured the zombie concept of Japan with where in the Western hemisphere, the zombie stuff is more of an infection, or maybe even the comet causes the corpses to come out of the ground. Or if you're looking at Night of the Living Dead, Return of the Dead sort of thing. But say it's an infection. That's typically the way it goes. I think what they did was they said, okay, the Japanese interpretation of the zombies, they grow like there's ants that become like zombie-like, and they grow like a tree out of their head. They get like a stick that grows out of their head. Apply that to people. Fill it up with Americans or people who are trying to pass for American with accents. Send that over to the West and such. Hell, run that as a game with a bunch of sneak combat, whatever, like stuff that's been done. And, the humans are the real problem. That's always the case, right? So I'm not... Hell, they tried doing this similar sort of thing. Zombies Too Late. Was it Days Gone over at Sony? And people are like, no, I like Days Gone. It's about a motorcycle guy who has to leave the zombies. And then they didn't give him a sequel, and they said it didn't sell well and all this. Oh, but we'll charge you more for the remake. So that's a bad place to be over there for Sony, where they're not just punching out remakes, remasters, remakes, whatever. And instead of it being a free update, at least Xbox kind of gives you that free update when things are happening. They haven't gotten that low, or they said, you know what, can we just charge for the upgrade? I think people have tried that. There have been versions of like a Madden game that came out, and it was the Xbox One version. Oh, but if you want the Series X version, it's going to be $10 more. Now you don't have to worry about the PS4, Xbox One version so much. But they could sit there and go, this next patch, it improves the frame rate or something. Next gen patches, maybe we can charge those. Because Nintendo and Sony, they're doing it too, right? That you're saying the hot guy, but then realized you were saying hot guy. Oh yeah. Hot guy on Disney Plus, right? suddenly I've accidentally created a show people would watch. Note here, you can't be retracting your message. I won't be able to get to it. Come on, man. Days Gone, I did finish. That wasn't too bad for memory, average at best. Yeah, I mean, what else can you do with it? Single player, right? Single player, there's a lot of zombies, but you have a motorcycle. Not entirely breaking new ground, but okay. Zombie ants, Zants. Yeah, there is an ant thing that happens where they get some kind of infection and they can grow a sprout out their noggin and it leads them to do suicide things. And then something grows out of them. And that is the interpretation of that applied to the zombie mythos, putting that spin on it. Oh my God, you're breaking new ground and shit. This is amazing. Who would have ever thought of something like this? Pathetic. 28 Days Later, Part 3 comes out June 20th. I about forgot about that. Shot on an iPhone. For reasons that can't be good. Man, that the 28 Days Later spearheaded the new zombie trend. Really did. It was a year later that we got the Dawn of the Dead remake. And look. We cannot give the Resident Evil movie credit for this. Can we agree that first Resident Evil movie does not get credit for bringing back zombies? That was not something people were talking about in fond fashion. The 2003 House of the Dead movie that seemingly had nothing to do with the damn game. Again, fortuitous release coinciding around the 28 Days Later. And the running zombies, no one thought about doing that. The zombies had been slow. But now we got running zombies, the infected, right? Didn't care for the second one. First time I saw Jeremy Renner, too. Tell you that. You know, we're on a Renner trip here. Jeremy Renner and Rose Byrne are in there. Doesn't work out well for them. And this girl that shows up and stuff, she was like side chick in the Need for Speed movie. Trying to keep it game related, right? 20 Days Later has a part 2 called Bone Temple. So part 4 as well. Bone Temple. I haven't heard of that. 28 Days Later, Bone Temple. Sounds like some DLC. It was 28 weeks later, right? Or was it months? I think they skipped months. And then they just came up with years, even though we're well short of 28 years later. I say well short, but now we're not that far away. Oh, jeez. 28 Days Later, Bone Temple. Are you screwing with me? What is this? 2026 film? Nia DaCosta. That sounds bad. Yeah, the girl who made the incompetent Candyman movie. Oh, jeez. So, okay, no, wait. So wait, it's 28 years later, Bone Temple. Shot back-to-back with the predecessor 28 years later. So that's going to come out in June. Then this thing, they're coming out in January. Shoot. Starring Aaron Taylor Johnson. Oh, yeah. He's been on a hot streak. Mm-hmm. Nothing says box office poison quite like that guy, tell you. Oh, boy. That... Maybe on some kind of micro budget, the 28 years later will make money and this will be justified in some shit way. I don't know. So 4 of them. I remember Jackson filming parts of The Hobbit with a GoPro. I could tell when certain cameras were being used in films, and there was a certain... the early GoPros had like a tinge to them, a greenish tinge about them, and you can spot it when GoPro footage would come up in things. I'm talking like GoPro 3 and below so much. So look at like, I don't know, 2013 and older, with a GoPro in action, you can tell when they use a GoPro. 28 Days Later was shot on DV, digital video. I think they're just trying to replicate that lo-fi look shooting on an iPhone, but it's not quite. I don't... You can do a lot of things to make the iPhone like a movie camera, but you probably would have just been better off with the flexibility of an actual large format RE something. They could have done a number of things. But yeah, I wasn't like super crazy about the look of the original film. But then again, this was also at a time where like all the British things had that weird look about them because they were doing PAL on their TV. So the frame rate looked funny or blurry. They also have quite a bluish, like there's a lot of blue in stuff out in Europe. Everybody outside the US has like a color for their movies, it seems. And people were pale and blue is like a constant rain type of look about things. And you couldn't really get that in the same way in the US. And even though people would then try to make things blue or green to be like the Matrix, and it, you could tell it was still like an American thing, kind of weird. 28 Years Later is part of a trilogy. The original film doesn't upscale well. Oh, I would bet it wouldn't. Oh man, would that even have been at 1080p? I never see that movie streaming. You don't see it around. Maybe it's on HBO Max, but yeah. Oh gosh, because look at it this way. Theoretically, the worst looking Star Wars is, from that capped perspective, is going to be Attack of the Clones, which I think is totally mastered at 1080p, or maybe even less than that. Maybe some of the effects or textures are less. They had it at a higher resolution. Like maybe they were doing 2K or a 2K intermediate or something for Revenge of the Sith. But you certainly aren't getting a true 4K out of either of those. Whereas Phantom Menace is shot on film, so I think everything's mastered to film. You would have like original negatives in that way to work with. But man, yeah, it's been too long because look, the last time I've seen 28 Days Later was like on a DVD. So there's a 480p cap right there. And surely they were thinking a little beyond that, for exhibition in a theater. So maybe it was shot at like 720p converted and then printed. Yeah, I would guess it doesn't upscale too well. At this point, WWE wrestlers are better actors than the new crop in Hollywood. Speaking of, perhaps I shall pull something up for you. Saw some news regarding a gal in the WWE named Liv Morgan. I'm not like a fan or anything, but it looks like she's going to do a Takashi Miike film, and I'm thinking, this is from Bloody Disgusting. I'm going to pull this up here. This could actually be something. Oh my God, this thing is broke again. All right, so I said this could actually be something, and we'll have to start on that. See, this kind of just crashes, doesn't it? So, yeah, the Mac OS capture, and then you kind of back to application. There we go. This could actually be something. Am I going to make 2 edits in this stream here? We'll see. From Bloody Disgusting, we're looking at WWE superstar Liv Morgan starring in Takashi Miike's Bad Lieutenant Tokyo. Haven't seen Bad Lieutenant Port of Call. Was that actually a sequel with a whole different cast? Is there a trilogy to this with different things? Like, I don't know, but let's suppose here we have never had a WWE superstar female, a diva, whatever we're calling them. They've never broken out with movies. You could say Dwayne Johnson, Dave Bautista, as far as the males. We know that Stone Cold and Hulk didn't launch into a lucrative movie career. But the women have never gone anywhere. I'm trying to even think who I've seen in something. I've seen of Becky Lynch was in like a straight to video extended sequel of The Marine, was it? Or 12 Rounds or something. And this could blow up. Now, it's not that Takashi Miike is super well known in the West, but hell, you also have Lily James here. People have seen her in things. This could actually be playing in theaters. Subsequent, what do we get? Proposed Bad Lieutenant Port of Call, New Orleans, Nicolas Cage, which was directed by Werner Herzog. We've got a weird franchise going here where we have some established directors kind of just getting kicked around. But this could maybe make something for Liv Morgan. Now, if I'm not mistaken, didn't she have... Look, I don't watch this stuff. Didn't she have like a smaller presence at WrestleMania, if even a match? I don't think she has a belt right now because she could be going to be busy making a movie, right? Like they'll do things like that. But some of these wrestlers should be good enough with trying to act live that they should be good enough to do takes in a movie. Shockingly, very few of them can pull that off. I know we also probably have another trailer to kind of look at. You guys want me to look at the Smashing Machine? Yeah, I heard about that. Takashi Miike doing Bad Lieutenant Tokyo. I'm intrigued just for Miike alone. Yeah, it could be intriguing. I kind of need to see the second one. No Port of Call wasn't really a sequel. It was a completely standalone film. Good film, worth a look. I think that one, at one point, one of them was more inclined to be found streaming than the other, and now it just seems like the original is everywhere, but I don't know. Lily James looks like a young Jennifer Jason Leigh. She has a weird fish mouth thing about her. I guess that must be a thing that happens to some British chicks, because Daisy Ridley kind of has the fish mouth thing too. I thought she was an odd choice to be playing Pamela Anderson for their little Hulu movie, but you know, work stuff they can do with the makeup, it kind of worked out believably enough, I guess, whatever. Why were people complaining about WrestleMania 41? I didn't see it. I think the big complaint is the story. The wrestling crowd needs to give up on a lot of the story shit. There doesn't need to be a story to justify two teams playing each other in the Super Bowl. If it's supposed to be a sport, then how come it's always, if it's presented like a real sport, okay? Why does it come down to somebody starts talking to the guy, let's give them both microphones, and then they'll point to the sign to meet at WrestleMania. How come there isn't a governing body assigning who's going to fight? Like, it's pretty ridiculous, isn't it? Oh, but there needs to be a story so people care. How about if people like the characters, they'd care whether or not there was a story? There doesn't have to be a story for people to care. It's kind of shit. Especially now that we've seen all the stories. And now, like, what is there left to do? Other than this guy got the belt and then, hold on, not so fast. Oh, here comes this guy and his music's playing. We've done way too much of this stuff before. Now we have a thing where Dwayne Johnson wants John Cena to sell his soul to him or something. And does that mean he gets to fight Cody Rhodes for the title and he wins, but he's kind of does some heelish stuff. But The Rock isn't there, and then The Rock is possibly, he does some underhanded shit. Is he trying to take WWE away from Triple H, who really doesn't have power? He has a role. He's like the chief creative. But it's not like he's inherited the company now. And in fact, oh gosh, who's the guy that runs Endeavor and is really the owner? Ari Emanuel. He could be like, Dwayne's a bigger star. Let's just do what he wants. Like, he's on the board or whatever. Like, there's different positions for possible kayfabe reasons, but you, at the same time, you have heel John Cena being the friendly voiceover guy in the Honda commercials. Who is going to buy that? You're giving away the magic tricks over on Netflix now. You have a new series coming where you say, go behind the scenes and see what it's like, where everybody fakes all their grief. That's low. Now, there is a portion of people who may want to work in the industry as like a writer for this stuff who could probably be caught up on the ins and outs of it. But to pull back the curtain like that, it's like, why not just have David Blaine has a special and then you expose him the next day? Because you bought Raw and WrestleMania is being shown across the world, like included with Netflix. Oh, but in America we got to pay or you got to have Peacock or some other crap. But now you're going to go and give away the tricks for the thing that you just bought. Very weird. Ill-advised. But Netflix makes a lot of bad choices. It's just the rest of the industry makes worse choices. So Netflix looks like they're genius by contrast. Not to the extent of Cena or Rock or Batista. I don't know what you're asking there. People complain about WrestleMania. I mean, internet wrestling nerds complain about everything. There's that. All right, Daniel's saying none of the women WE have really become household names. I think some have become names to some extent, but not as movie stars. They haven't transitioned to acting. So some black director I never heard of is planning an X-Files reboot. God help us. Didn't the previous X-Files underperform drastically and it was cheap? Was it X-Files? I want to believe there was a second X-Files movie that did not hit, and I thought that was going to be the end of that. And then they rebooted, and not rebooted, but there was a continuation. Like they brought back X-Files. I think maybe around the time they brought back Roseanne or something. So, yeah, I haven't heard about that. I'm assuming David Duchovny and redheaded British chick are there. Fox and Mulder, right? I'm assuming as much. Because why would you do that without them? That guy, Biz, waves hello. Feel free to use those built-in YouTube emojis, guys. No one uses them. Like I leave comments on a lot of videos, and just no one ever pulls that stuff up. I mean, they might do the sweaty head thing over there, but that's about it. I didn't have a whole lot else for you, so bring some questions quick here. We've been going for an hour-ish. We've covered topics such as game console and price fixing. It's price fixing, guys. They're not looking to win a competition by undercutting anybody, selling at a lower price. At the same time, I think that the public has to say, you know what? I'm going to wait for a sale. Because if people do buy all the stuff, you look at all the pre-orders that sold out for the Switch 2. That doesn't say, yeah, maybe we should lower the price. No, if we're selling them at a high price, we could raise the price. So you might actually be better off getting a Switch now than waiting. Though I think that the tariff thing will subside. It'll be more temporary than people may expect. I think the tariffs are being leveraged to try to win position, to get other countries to do things. And then when they do, the tariff goes away. But think about it like this. Why would the tariff between China and the US affect game prices for those of you in Canada, Australia, the UK? That's a little curious, isn't it? Yeah, the tariff situation is so tricky. We're going to have to raise the prices for everybody. Yeah, it really makes it seem like the tariffs didn't matter. They were looking for some excuse to say, add $100 to the console. Add $10 to every new first-party game. And our bros over there at Sony and Xbox, they're going to do the same thing, so we've got nothing to worry about. It's kind of the way it looks, doesn't it? David Company just plays guitar nowadays, does he? The trouble with WWE is it's doing well financially. And hold on, I'm going to bring up the Smashing Machine, guys. We're going to do a trailer reaction. I think there's a teaser. I've seen half of it. Let's watch this, and then we will get into... Is there going to be an ad? Okay, hold on here. Hold on, guys. Let's make sure we got this working. And it doesn't... You've got to be... Why does this crash all the time? Why? It's worse than ever today. There's like no way out of it. I gotta just kind of... Here we go. Trailer reaction. Shh. A24, it's super important. That's Dwayne Johnson, supposedly.
Well, have you ever heard of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, the UFC?
That's the bloody thing they're trying to ban.
This guy is the best he has ever seen.
Do you hate each other when you fight?
He looks more jacked now than he did about 10 years ago.
How do you know Mark Kirk? Oh, we go way back.
Which
but he's a buddy of mine.
Kind of makes you think they may have added something to his muscles.
No. Please welcome in his octagon debut,
Emily Blunt as probably American again.
Winning is the best feeling there is. It's 40,000 people and they're cheering you on.
I think I see Dwayne Johnson's possible neck and mouth, but everything else just looks completely different. There's Baz Rutten, right? Now, I'm not too familiar with this guy's story, which will make watching the movie maybe worthwhile. I feel like sometimes if you're too familiar with the biopics, as the Brits call it, then it's just kind of like redundant, you know? Oh, we're driving the SLK. Does this take place like late 90s, maybe? It's got a cinema verite thing going on, doesn't it? Like it looks like it's footage from a documentary. It has an unplanned like look about it, a lot of handheld. Is every trailer red band now? What the hell is this shit? They don't even have to show trailers in movie theaters anymore because now everybody goes to YouTube to watch them. So it's like, yeah, we'll just shit, you know. There's going to be a ton of cussing. Oh shit, what are we doing here? Back to Solo. Movie trailers now, guys. Actually, you know what? Looking at the screen there, did it freeze in the middle of me talking about this trailer? I'm guessing the screen froze. Wonderful. I'm the only one who thinks the trailer for the new South Park season looks a bit shit. I wouldn't know. I don't have that HBO Max to be watching that. It should probably be on Paramount, but Paramount had a way. Paramount, Viacom, Global, whatever, they had a way of parsing out their IPs to other services. You got to go to Peacock to get the Yellowstone. You got to go to HBO Max to get the South Park. Okay, and then we'll launch our platform, and then what do we have on it? Let's bring in Sylvester Stallone. But it's 2023, you know, it's like, oh, geez, what are we doing, guys? Yeah, it has that handheld pseudo-documentary look about it, yeah. Take it or leave it. Looks kind of compelling. There's not an overabundance of MMA movies that have the hard-hitting drama aspect to it that this kind of looking at here. And for a time, that was really saved for boxing. Now, boxing's kind of fallen out of favor. Jake Paul, you're not doing boxing any favors, tell you that. So I think we may be done with our stream here. We've got a couple of sure to be copyright flagged trailer reactions. That'll be lovely. Talked about our other stuff. Didn't seem to get any new memberships, so you know that's a win for everybody, saving the money for the rising cost of Xbox. Speaking of, I suppose around the corner, is it this month? We're going to be getting some Doom, the Dark World or Dark Ages. Doom, Dark Ages. When does that drop? It's pretty soon, isn't it? I think we've got May 15th. Okay. So I will probably be doing a first impression stream of that. I have some other stuff I need to finish up. We've got a new Shinobi coming. I think that's later in the summer. I think the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Fighting Collection is this month. Is it Capcom? No, well, okay. No, it's not Marvel. It's Capcom Fighting Collection 2. I think that's this month. I'm just looking up stuff quickly here, Wikipedia. May 16th, a day later. Oh, man. Oh, you want me to comment on Braun for a second? We can do that. Oh, the Braun statue, man. Let me tell you. The statue of him colliding into a ginger and then laying himself out. That should be LeBron James' thing. Let's see. Let's type in LeBron flop. Now, not that I watched the game. I watched or rather listened to a little bit of footage from it. Outkick, they're fringe media, so they're allowed to be against LeBron. Has Hall of Fame worthy flop in sad Lakers playoff exit. Not the way ESPN would put that. Eric, you're back. You're back on the only tier. Awesome. Golden State Warriors still in it. Are they? Well, I tied it. It was a tied series last I saw. Is there a game today? I don't think they have back-to-backs in the playoffs. I need to, as a cable cutter, it is very hard to watch NBA basketball except for the finals. The finals and Christmas Day Everything else, it goes to ESPN. You have to have your own app, whatever the hell, or TNT. There's a lot of games, a lot of potential for them to be on TV, but they're not. So, let's see. We don't need this guy talking over here, but let's pull up something. See if, oh my God, yeah, that was Frozen. Frozen like the Madonna song. And back to application. Why is this freezing? Does this guy show the flop on the thing here? Can we just see the picture of it? Here we go. Of all the people to run into for this flop, that right there should be the LeBron James statue. That on the ground, legs a little crossed over. That is your statue if you want to be a Lakers great right there. That is my favorite. Now look at this. Run into the ginger you have 50 pounds on and throw yourself in the ground. And the funny thing was, I know if you've seen on Instagram, I shared this image, one of these Twitter, X, whatever. They like shopped in Anthony Edwards standing over him and going, "Is this your king?" And it had the Wakanda type king fight waterfall backdrop and everything. And yeah, that's kind of the way it feels. LeBron James is hurting his legacy. I don't care how else you can possibly look at that, because if you're the guy, right, at the very least, suppose the shots aren't landing and you're not winning, right? Suppose that you don't really have it athletically to be a number one on a team when he should be, he really is like a third answer on the team, and he should probably be coming in off the bench. But you could at least look like a man out there. And LeFraud James does not do that. He insists on complaining to the refs during plays. It's not playing the ball, not playing a man, but go to a ref and complain about the shit that's happening. And then say, "Oh, well, if that's not going to work, I'll fall on the ground." And then you had that picture of him and he's like, "Oh, hold on, maybe not. Oh, no." Like he was peeking to see if the refs notice. And guys like Reggie Miller, the guys doing the commentary are not allowed to call that. Look at LeBron, he's foul baiting. He flopped and he's looking for a call. You won't get that real talk on the air because LeBron James will have those people ran out of house and home. They will be gone. The TNT crowd even had a graphic about LeBron in the last 2 games. Exits. It was slanderous, right? That would not fly next year on ESPN. Chuck, Shaq, Kenny, Ernie, they're going to have to be in check because that is not going to happen. That not going to be allowed. And I'm sorry to be bringing up the sports stuff with you guys. Not necessarily a sports channel. I occasionally comment on it. But I would like you guys to go find the streams you want me to be on and tell them if you have to super chat, "Hey, you should ask legendary badass Von Fry to join the stream," whatever, It could be the Nerderotic crew or whatever, old school hoop fan. I was with not him directly. He's kind of picked up the leading of the stream, but these other guys, that was my first live stream on the platform for YouTube last year. But yeah, I can talk some more sports. It's just hard to be a hoops fan when you have this guy controlling the narrative and the way the game's played, putting a stain on it, and then hiding the truth. Like we've memory holed. The media is effectively trying to memory hold all of the LeBron James flopping. And when you look and pull up clips of the greats, you don't get a lot of them complaining to the refs for a foul, throwing the ball on the ground in what should be a mandatory technical, and somehow not getting it called. Like, just garbage. How are you doing, brother? Ant-Man. I don't know if I could pull up the stats here, but yeah, let me take you off that screen for a second in case this doesn't work. But the stats on that game, Lakers, was that game 5? Lakers, Wolves, game 5 stats. What an ugly game. We got to go to ESPN. I'm sorry, guys. ESPN has them on the ground. It's a miracle. But it's a video. Oh, and they forget it. Can we pull up some box scores? Not really. Oh, here we go. What were they like? Weren't the Wolves like 7 for 47 for 3? With Rudy Gobert having this Bill Russell-like performance on the boards. It's just insane. It's like, how do we beat these guys? We got to jack up threes. Well, what if we fall behind? Keep jacking up more threes, guys. It's the only way. The Lakers are the worst coach team. You don't end up being the first team ever to not have substitutes in the second half by accident. That is the telltale sign of a coach who has no idea what he's doing. Who is also pistol whipped by your star player who will not be benched. Let's give JJ Redick a benefit of the doubt. Maybe, and it's frozen again, isn't it? Shoot. Maybe JJ Redick knew that in order for them to have a chance in this series, that they'd have to bench LeBron James. But he wasn't allowed to, because we know who the real coach is, don't we? So we have a guy who can dunk. He's 6'4", but he dunks really damn good. And the team he's playing against doesn't have a center. Has like tallest guy on the court is like LeBron James, who we know isn't going to be getting in the way of this. And yet we just jack up threes. And we think that's a good way to win the game. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't there some news came in that like teams that took as many threes as they did and made less than 15% were like 0-29 lifetime in the NBA. And this is now the 1 in 29. That is a team that should not win a game playing against a somehow even worse team. Because that somehow worse team has the coach killer himself, King James, choking it up. And the spotlight has to be on him. So he's not coming in off the bench, like full stop ever. You don't bench me, right? I bench you. I'll get another coach who isn't going to bench me. That's the whole point of you being here. It's pathetic. It shows that maybe no more than 8 teams should be in the NBA playoffs. It's insane how there is a playoff season. Pretty sure the NBA playoffs run for longer than the UFL. The UFL XFL thing, that merger. I think it's called UFL now. Pretty sure that the NBA playoff season could very well be longer than that whole league's spring football. It's completely insane. And if they're going to play this bad, what evidence is there that we need more teams in the playoffs? Let's have a play-in game. Let's turn it into a play-in tournament. We needed more bad basketball. Is that really the direction we're going with this? Pretty bad stuff. Oh, and LeBron James, you're not doing yourself any favors over here, are you? He was 40 minutes, 9 of 21. 50% from the free throw line. 1 of 5 for 3. I mean, that's a guy who's losing a game for you right there. Just really bad. And didn't Ant like not make a 3-pointer? The star of the other team is 0 for 11 from 3 and still wins the game. It's a mismatch of different types of bad. Inept versus catastrophic. So we're going to leave it right there for you guys. That's been the stream for the night. I think we covered enough topics. Eric, welcome back to the tier. And thanks for reminding me to say something about this LeBron James exit, because I have things to say about that. So, yeah, if you made it this far, wait until marriage counseling.